is it that is not happening, what was working for you earlier and today it's not? And what are some of the new things that you tried?
A lot of things I can resonate here. In fact, I would say they apply to most of my company's experiences also, in terms of, see, when you say new business has been a little tough. Existing customers, selling to existing customers who know you, there have been a connect, they have seen you, met you before. It's always easier to sell to them, whether it's virtual or in person. So as I said, keeping the video on and connecting with them virtually is almost same as meeting them face to face. However, I mean, and since everybody now understands and have adopted to this new normal, so they know that you can't meet them physically, you can't travel to their place and have a meeting with them physically. See, the things that has to be taken care of as relationships ultimately. So for us, new business definitely is impacted to, I would say, not to a very large extent, but minimal. We can see that compared to 2019, how many new logos we added by this time has dipped quite significantly. And even if we have enough leads through marketing channels and doing digital workshops and seminars and trade shows, despite that, the leads are there, but then ultimately those leads have to be connected. They have to be, you have to make sure that they convert into your customer or contact, which is not that easy with virtual. Some of the sales team is new, so being new to the company as well as getting into business with new customers, it poses its own challenges. So some places like Europe, I would say Asia was still better, but Europe and US kind of really slowed down a bit. And for us, since our business is life sciences, as I said, clinical trials stopped at our customer side because there was no physical patients or subjects available for them. So most of those customers were not buying solutions for clinical trials from us. That business got impacted directly. Then budget, as you said, at customer side, I wouldn't say it was stopped, but it definitely slowed down. There was unpredictability on the budget side for few of the customers. So few of the deals that looked like they're in the pipeline and were maturing well slowed down and moved couple of quarters, and some of them even moved to next year because customers were not able to commit the budget that they were supposed to. So those challenges we did face, I would say. But as I said, the percentage of impact in our business has been quite low considering the COVID scenario. And my company was able to pay bonuses to employees on time. The only thing little bit we got impacted was like 6 months of merit increase. We usually get merit increase from effective January, which didn't happen for us this year. So, and I think employees understood. So company decided to kind of start, because of 6 months, almost like everybody was offline. We were still getting used to budgeting. We had no travels. So then the company decided to pay a merit increase for half of the year onwards. But we didn't have significant layoffs, or like very minimal, which would have happened because of performance challenges, but otherwise no layoffs due to COVID specifically. And what additional we did was we created a COVID task force within the organization. So it was a panel of people from various groups, very senior leader executive team, the CHRO. I was part of that, and there were a few more senior people included, and people like admin and facilities who were on the ground from the offices locally working in different geographies. And this team met almost initially weekly basis. So we were able to cater to some of the needs of the employees. Because as I said, when you say prospecting, when you say meeting new customers, you need to make sure that first touch point that you have, because you might not be given multiple chances. Being virtually, it almost puts you off that radar, right, from the customer. You are meeting physically, you have their coffee time with them, you have a dinner or you have a drink with the customer, is very different from trying to connect virtually, because that trust doesn't build instantly on a virtual table. So the first impression has to be the most important one, because the moment the first perception is gone, then it's very difficult to rebuild it, specifically when you're on a virtual mode. So the demos that we do have to be seamless, have to be really very more effective than before. Again, as Tapan was talking about multiple touch points, I would say that we train teams to make sure that they're not crossing that line of being spamming or annoying the customer, because that also happens when you are trying to connect multiple times. You're not getting the response that you expect because you can't see the perception, you can't see what the competition is doing behind your back. So all those things are almost hidden on a virtual environment unless you're really clued on to what's happening. And usually people will not post it on social media, those kind of things. So then it becomes very difficult to decide where that line is drawn, where you stop the spamming and don't sound desperate, because sometimes, yes, business is impacted. Some of the deals that we were looking at looking very promising almost pushed out. So it's possible for a salesperson to become desperate. So what we did was we did a lot of, as I said, virtual connects, obviously. So when I say connects, it's all virtual. Internal connects, we created something called Between Teams. So it's an initiative driven by marketing. So what we did was make sure that introducing a team to the other team, and it's more internal, but then that helped us collaborate better, because for us, the sales have to be very well engaged, the commercial has to be very well engaged with the product organization, because what they're coming up, what the next roadmap features are, functionalities they're trying to build, what UI UX design changes they are doing, what innovation they are about to bring in, that has to be very well communicated to the customers, because we don't know what competition is doing and where we could lose pricing commercially, because as during the pandemic, most of the companies their budgets have been constrained. So not pricing at the same level that we were doing earlier, but kind of adopting to the new ways of commercially pricing yourself, reaching out to the customer. So yeah, so those things we did train people. We did adopt a lot of tools and technologies, some of which we would have done despite the pandemic. We would have done it, but we fast tracked those. Like we adopted Sales Navigator from LinkedIn for prospecting. We have Pardot which is integrated with CRM system. We use Salesforce CRM. So creating new modules in CRM, training people regularly, weekly mailers internally have increased, which kind of talk about what's happening. Then our win-loss knowledge sharing between the teams, commercial teams, to share the losses and the wins that have happened, what they experience internally. So someone in China has a different experience from someone in Europe and from someone in US or someone in India. So that those cadence I would say has increased for internal connects. And when it comes to customer, the most important thing that has worked is the existing relationships, as I said. So cross-selling, definitely upselling within the same customer base has definitely helped, and people have seen a difference when they know the customer. Second thing is reach out through internal connects. So more of outreach through internal connects. If someone knows someone, they can put you up, refer them. So same techniques, but not physically, not face to face, not over a coffee table maybe, but doing it virtually.